Hi there! Some of you had some questions about how to do this assignment, so I'm going to try and break this down for you, and I'm going to use the example of the essay that we've already read, Women Don't Want Men, Ha! So if we look at the assignment, it says to analyze the proposal, identify its stated and actual position, its sequence of reasoning, its supporting evidence, and its methods of appealing to readers. So this is how I'm going to annotate the text, and then I'm going to show you how I use the annotations chart to help me. So let's go to our article, Women Don't Want Men, Ha! If you look, I've done some work here. I've done some annotations over here about different things that I see going on in the essay. The very first thing that I notice here in yellow is the thesis statement. So in my annotations chart right here, you will see that I have the thesis statement right up here on the top. So this is the focus of the whole essay, that the authors say that basically the reason why there's a current trend away from marriage and towards divorce is because women are overcritical and have too many expectations, and it's not the fault of men at all. So I've identified that. Now I'm going to start looking for the author's reasons on how they support that claim. So the first thing that I notice is that they're jumping right into a refutation of a common charge. So they're looking at the opposition's claim that men don't work as much at home, and that's why women are unhappy with men that they're married to. So I will jump back over here to my annotations chart, and here I put down position 1. This is their refutation, and so they're saying that men actually work just as much, if not more, than women, and they provide their reasons. Okay, so when we look at their reasons, the authors are basically saying that men work more than women outside of the home. Here's the evidence that they cite that supports that reason. They say that men have, the leisure time is about the same for men and women. It's unstatistically insignificant that there was a 1% difference. They also said that men provide more childcare, and that men's jobs are more dangerous and physically straining. Now, when we look at these reasons, we see that the author is using a few different methods of appeal. So at the very beginning, they both start out with citing tons of statistics, so they're really trying to appeal to our logos and try to present a very logical argument, although I did think that it's interesting that while they were trying to refute the claim that men don't work as much at home, they actually stated in their article that women do 11 more hours of housework a week than men, but they were trying to counterbalance that by saying, well, men work more than women outside of the home, so it balances out. They talk about the leisure time statistic. That's also an appeal to logic, men providing more childcare. They're using these statistics to show some sympathy for men, which is pathos, and as the writer builds on these statistics and just showers us with all of this information, they're using these statistics to build trust and establish themselves as credible authors, and that's ethos. Now, the next part of the article talks about how women are basically harder to please than men, and the reasons that they give are that women are unhappy with their husbands. They quote a Woman's Day poll that says 56% of married women would not or might not marry their husbands if they could choose again. I'm kind of questioning this kind of how solid this evidence is, because it's from a very small pool just of Women's Day readers, so I don't know how indicative that is of all women. They also said that women initiate divorce more than men, but there was no citation of that, so I don't know how credible or reliable that evidence is. And they also talked about how the majority of marital problems revolve around why the wife is unhappy with the husband, and again, there's no citation of that. And their second reason why women are harder to please than men is that they say that women are naturally more discerning than men. It's just an evolutionary need that has evolved since the time of the cavemen and women. And this is just the author's reasoning. And then he shares the blind date anecdote where he states that if a woman didn't like the blind date, she would give 5 reasons why they could not be compatible. Again, this is just an anecdote, and there's no statistical or factual basis on this. It's just a story. So, if you analyze this article, you can see that this is the author's thesis. Judging on what we've read in Chapter 3, Critical Thinking Processes, we can see the different methods of appeal that they use. We can also see that they're using a deductive pattern of reasoning. They're starting with a really broad statement, and then they're using specifics to back it up. And then they're also using a most to least argument, because you can see that they spend a lot of time at the beginning stating all of these facts and refuting this claim that that men don't work as much as women. And then at the end, when they talk about how women are just harder to please than men, they just are going on stories and claims that have no evidence or citations or statistics or facts to back them up. So that is what I would use this annotation chart to help me write a summary of what the author's thesis is, what the author's positions are, how they use reasons to support those positions, and how effective their evidence was at convincing me of these reasons. Okay, back to our assignment in Blackboard. If you look at the assignment, you will see that I have a link here. So if you're not sure about exactly what you need to hand in, just click on this link and it will take you to the sample analysis of the Last Rites for the Indian Dead by Suzanne Schoen Harjo, and this is basically what you're going to be handing in, something that looks like this. This author gave a quick recap of what Harjo's thesis was, and then talked about how she appeals to reason, she presents herself as an expert, and how she emotionally appeals to the audience, and then how she thought, how effective she thought that was. The important thing to remember here is what we are trying to learn, and that is the critical thinking skill of taking an argument and analyzing it, which means breaking it into parts. So I want to see how you look at an argument and you break it up. This particular author chose to break up her analysis of Harjo's article by using logos, pathos, and ethos. You may decide that you would prefer to work off of this as like a rough outline and create an essay that addresses the thesis and each position that the author takes step by step. That is fine. Again, my purpose in teaching you these different methods is not so that you can become little clones of me, but so that you can learn how you analyze something. So I might be throwing a couple of different things at you, but the thing that I want you to remember is the purpose of this is to help you figure out what works best for you. So you might look at an essay like this and say, oh, yeah, that I can totally see that, and I can totally break that down into parts. Or you might look at a chart like this and say, oh yeah, this totally helps me break it down, and now I understand how to look at an author's argument and break it up. Or you might look at something else completely different, like an outline. You might just do a rough outline instead of an annotations chart and break it down into its parts based on an outline. It doesn't matter how you get there, but the only thing that I'm looking for is that you are able to break the argument down into its separate parts so that you can analyze and see how effective it is. Okay, so don't get too hung up on process and procedure. Think about what works best for you when you are analyzing this particular essay, which is right here, How to Solve All of America's Problems in a Single Step. Um, and if you have any other questions, the fastest way to get a hold of me is by texting me. I added that information in Blackboard so that you can call me or text me on my cell phone, or the next best fastest way would be to enter your question in on Google+. And the advantage of that is that other people will get to hear my answer to your question. So good luck with this assignment, and if there's anything else that you need from me, let me know. Thanks.